What's up, nerds? I'm Wes.
I'm Tom.
Today we're taking it to the beach in Santa Monica.
Santa Monica is a drafting, tableau building game with tons of different scoring opportunities. That's pretty much it.
You are building out your section of the beach, and you want to please as many of the people out there as possible. That's really like the biggest way you score is where the people are on your board. You've got little sections that like, hey, this section right here wants to have this number of this color of person, and this section just wants to have this many people in it. And you score points if those sections are filled, and you lose points at the end of the game if there are people that don't have anywhere to go because they're just like wandering around the beach like...
So Wes is right in that you draft cards and then you place them in your little tableau and they score in different ways, but not only just, placement of the cards, which is what a lot of tableau builders kind of feel like. This has a secondary thing of people that a lot of the cards, you start with some people and a lot of the cards will give you people, and a lot of other actions that you can do will let you move the people around, and that placement on top is another thing to think about. So it's like you're thinking about the draft for one, you're thinking about the placement of the cards for two, but then you're thinking about the movement of the things on top of the cards for three.
So this is one of those games that like didn't impress me at first with just like the aesthetics of the game. They're like the kind of like light colors, the pastels. It's just like building a little beach town. But Tom was like, no, trust me, it's gonna be awesome. And he was right.
It's deceptively complex. Like, it looks like it's going to be really simple. And ultimately what you're doing is simple. Drafting cards and placing them down ain't that hard. But there's so many different ways to score points, because not only does every card have different ways to score points. Like the placement, the movement of the people, like chains you can do and stuff. We also have like... when we're talking about people, when we say like, talked about scoring circles, that's where like, if you have people on this card, basically, you will get this many points. But there's also your green dude. He doesn't really work that way. He moves around in every spot he visits, which means he'll leave a footprint there. You will get points based off of the certain type of thing he visits. And then also, there is a straight up scoring card that is out there. There's 3 different ones that has 3 different scoring options on it. So like, there's a lot of different ways to score points, so it's pretty thinky sometimes.
And I think that, you had said it sounds simple, but it's really not. It's not, like, super complex either. I think it's really the way that everything, like, integrates together. Like, right. This affects this, so I need this card here, but if I put it over here, it goes with this thing. But if I put it here, I need to make sure I get something else to move this guy over here. Like, there's definitely, you have to think ahead, and you have to figure out how to make it work. But it all meshes together really well, and it presents really simple because there's only so many places to put a card, because there's like, 2 rows and there's infinite columns as far as you want to go, but you can only put it on the end of your columns. So like,
so the only thing I would say with that is that you can't just have a card floating out there, but you could build like beach. You could put a bunch of beach to one side, and then you can place a boardwalk card underneath any of those beach cards. You can have it be like boardwalk and beach, a whole bunch of beach, and then boardwalk beach. You know what I mean? Like, so I like that you have that much freedom at least. One of the things that I both do and don't agree with is that like whenever these types of games that are like combo-y, I kind of feel that way with like Gizmos or like Valeria Card Kingdoms. I know those are more engine builders. This one doesn't. You don't really build an engine. We always have like almost like an argument with the feeling of like, does it end too soon? Because you only get to exactly 14 cards. So on your turn, you either draft a card from here or you take one of these special actions, which by the way, is going to tell you to take a card. Some of them actually tell you to take 2 cards, which I would obviously recommend not for first time players, because that's such an obvious advantage. If I end the game with more cards than you, that's pretty strong. But either way, you're only going to get 14 cards. And maybe 14 cards sounds like a lot, but 15 or 16 would really be helpful if you need that one extra one, I
mean, there's always like, if I had one more turn, it was a game that didn't overstay its welcome, but also like I wasn't waiting for it to end. Like I thought it ended a nice little balance. If you said, hey, we're going to play to 16 this game because I want a little bit longer, I wouldn't complain at all. True. But I'm also like, when you get to turn 12 and you're like, oh, there's only 2 left, I need to start wrapping it up. It's not like, oh, I'd only just begun to play. Like, you still have enough going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's always like when a game ends, is always going to end at a certain point.
Yeah.
And whenever it goes to end, I always feel like I could keep going. You know what I mean? I'm always in the back of my mind going, I wonder what it would be like if we played a couple more. You know, but I think what you said there, if we sat down and said, hey, let's play up to 16, at least it has that flexibility where I bet if you did that, it wouldn't really be a problem.
Well, and part of it is because, like, it's kind of a game where like, you put your cards out there and it's a little bit chaotic. And you want to put more cards out there to like organize the people out there and get your chains all linked up. And then it's neat. You're like, okay, this is neat. Now I need to add some more chaos so I have more potential for points. That's how I felt, at least, is that like I got my dudes out there. I got them where they needed to be. Then I got more dudes out there. Then I got them where they needed to be. So at that point, that could kind of go on ad nauseum of like, well, these middle columns are all good. And now I'm just adding more stuff outside that I need to keep reorganizing. And that, again, you could go on for as long as you wanted.
Yeah. So that's one, like, I don't have a lot of negatives with this. So that is one potential negative, is that some players could feel that way of like they would want it to go a little bit longer. But also I do think this game, well, I'm not saying it's incomplete. I'm definitely not saying that. I have great fun playing this game. But I definitely feel like I'm hungry for an expansion. This game would definitely benefit from an expansion. And my friends and I were actually talking. I said my friends because not Wes. My friends and I were talking about things that we could potentially add. Like, first of all, there is this food truck and foodie person that like for when you draft. Oh yeah, you're holding the foodie. For when you're drafting cards, they give you bonuses, abilities, and they move. It would be cool if every player had a personal thing that's like at the bottom of their columns that moves around somewhat. There are some cards that are actually like pretty unique. Like I actually do think every card in this deck, it's a pretty big deck. It's a pretty big deck. I think they are all unique. I don't think there are any exact duplicates, but some of them, like this one here, that gives you a point for every sand dollar that you have at the end of the game. I'm pretty certain that's the only one in the game, or maybe there's two.
There's also some cards that are like pretty boring. Like this card gives you 2 orange guys and it has some icons on it, and that's it. So like this exact card doesn't exist, but it could be 2 orange guys and different icons.
Right, but what I'm saying is the idea of having some duplicates wouldn't be too bad. I would even be okay if like there could be like another card that's like every 2 sand dollars is a point or something like that. Like just, you know, adding more scoring potential would be cool. There could be like a day-night thing.
Or like a storm expansion, like halfway through the game, it's like, oh, hurricane!
God damn
Start
it.
again. So realistically, like, we both really liked this game. The complaints we mentioned were really like us looking for things. And again, expansions for the game, not this is how to fix it. It's you can make it even better. So if you want to check it out, there will be a purchase link down below because we think you should check it out.
If you want to drink some beer and have a nice, relaxing, yet thinky game, click on the description box down below. If you want to play it on an awesome tabletop, click on the other link for Game Toppers in the description box down below. But either way, while you're down below, you should thumbs up, you should leave some comments, and you should subscribe so you'll... Oh, come on, man. Bye.